everyone. Welcome to Behind the Design at MAWD. I'm Jane Maciver and I'm the Design Director here at MAWD. Today I have two of our senior interior designers with us.
Hi, I'm Paula Casadevall. I'm an interior senior designer at MAWD.
And I'm Bethia Thompson, senior interior designer at MAWD.
We're here in MAWD's London studio to give you an exclusive insight into our design philosophy, some of the trends shaping our industry, and what it means to us to be women in the design industry. So let's start with the heart of what we do here at MAWD. I think it's more about aesthetics, it's about storytelling and functionality, but I think we have quite an interesting way of approaching our work. How would you guys describe that?
Yes, I think the fact that we don't have like a studio style, it means that each project is quite unique.
Yeah, exactly. We like to blend innovation, functionality and emotion in all of our designs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think how we, interpret the briefs and really dig in, get under the skin of what a client is looking for, what's special about, a site, the heritage, the context, the landscape, the architecture. I think these are all elements that we can bring together to form our design DNA that make it something quite unique.
As women in leadership within the design industry, we each bring unique perspectives. Jane, as design director, what does being a female principal in this space mean to you?
It means a lot, actually, because when I first started out, I was the only female in my studio. I do think interior design is a great industry in terms of the amount of women that are represented, but I think we could do better with women in more senior roles, in more kind of key decision-making roles and technical roles. I think that as a company and as designers, we need to look to mentor and support and inspire young female designers. There's aspects of the workplace that are challenging as you progress through your career. Everything from if you want to have a family and how you're supported by your employers, to just feeling inspired and balancing a busy schedule of work and keeping excited and motivated and passionate about the career you set out on from the first place. So it's super important that we keep, younger designers really motivated and excited about what they're doing. So materiality is such an important part of our design process. Tell me a little bit more about the kind of approach we have to materiality and how we select different materials.
I think it's always great searching and finding and sourcing different materials. I think for us, one thing that's really important is sustainability and longevity.
Yeah.
So that longevity part is so important, and that really means looking at something that's really high quality.
Yes, yeah.
And of craftsmanship as well, right?
Yeah, this is what I was going to say, like even craftsmanship, like working with artisans to deliver like unique items and pieces.
Yeah.
It's very important, and it makes like the project itself quite unique.
Yeah, I think that bespoke nature of how we can bring our relationships with some really incredible artisans, craft people, and bringing something completely tailored and unique to each project is quite exciting, actually, that we have that capacity.
And I think like from a client perspective as well, it makes it quite unique.
It's special, exactly.
And I think sometimes as well, trying to do unexpected things with materials. I think we see that in certain projects when we bring some ideas to the table that the client's maybe not expecting, and trying to push the envelope with some of those layerings of materials and striking a balance between beauty and function is really important in what we do. How do we ensure that we get that balance right between the aesthetic and the functionality of spaces?
I think, to be honest, they are both hand in hand. I think if a place is not functional, it loses its beauty.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think with that, we also have to think about the user's experience and design for them.
Yeah.
So I think we always try to create, those environments tailored to those people.
Yes.
And also creating moments and experiential design as well with everything that we do. So those special moments throughout, I think is something that we always try and bear in mind as well.
Yeah, I think that's the joy of what we do, isn't it? Creating these little worlds for people to come into, whether it's temporarily or more longer term in a home. But yeah, making sure that all the spaces work operationally, functionally, and are harmonious.
So from our design, a key perspective is that we really focus on the demographics for each project. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think the demographics incredibly important, and then expanding on that, I think looking at, the heritage aspect, I think the kind of, if there's any statement architecture wrapped up in the project or surrounding the project, the kind of landscape, what we're surrounded by, the views and vistas, the kind of cultural connections. I think it's all part of the strands that we kind of weave into what we're developing as a story and a narrative. Okay, so I think a nice way to wrap this up would be to talk a little bit about your journey as an interior designer, what's brought you here, what inspires you, and what aspects of design kind of excite you most.
For me, coming from Barcelona, I think like the style is different. So one of the first things that it really drew my attention in here in the UK is like the mix of patterns and fabrics, and like textiles is my favorite part on design.
Yeah.
But I think like interior design in particular, I love the fact that it's up from like the whole space to the minimum details. So we kind of like cover the whole thing.
Yeah,
absolutely. I was born in Abu Dhabi, so for me, I grew up in a city that was always changing.
Yeah.
So from one day to another, it changed, and you would drive to different roads, and it would be different. So for me, I was inspired by everything that was being created around, and looking at what's new coming up and the mix between heritage. So it being quite a new city, really wanted me to be a part of that and to be able to put a stamp on interiors and architecture throughout. So I found that really exciting, and how I think different spaces make you feel different things.
Yeah.
For me, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do and work in interior design.
Thanks so much, Paula and Bethia. It's been really lovely to share our ideas and how we approach design, trends, and leadership in the industry. And thank you everyone for joining us here at MAWD.